What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be talking about 3.3 and 3.4. Who should you be pulling for, or should you even be pulling or saving? We're going to be talking about Hyacine. We're going to be talking about PHAINON, Cipher, and the Fate collab. What is my opinion on those units? Should you be saving, pulling, all of that stuff? So if you enjoy this type of content, let me know by liking the video, leaving a comment section below, and consider subscribing to the channel. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. This is the top-up site that I personally have been using for years now, in which you can purchase Oneric Shards at almost at a 23% discount. And the process is very, very simple. All you have to do is select the pack you want to purchase, enter your game UID and server, make sure this information is correct. And once you confirm your purchase, you should receive your JADES directly in your game in about 1 minute or so. All right. What? It's really that simple, fast and easy. And since HSR is resetting the top-up bonuses for the first time top-up in the anniversary, you actually get twice the reward for the same price and same amount of discount. So click the link in the description, save a lot of money, get twice the amount of Stellar Jades for the HSR anniversary using loopbar.gg. We're going to start talking about Hyacine. Long story short, she's going to come in the game as the best healer in the game. Not only the best healer in the game, she's going to be the best sustain in the game. She's not going to have any problem at all keeping your team alive and topped off, because she is very, very fast. And if you even if you don't have her light cone, she won't have a problem really bringing your team from almost dead to max HP in a matter of one skill, or ultimate for that matter. Either or, whichever one you do is going to top off your entire team. She provides HP buffs. She provides damage on her own accord as well. She's a very, very good sustained character to have. So she has some value just by being that good of a healer alone. Now, if you have casters in your account, that value just skyrockets just by having casters in your account, because obviously she is going to be the best pairing for casters. Current argument when it comes to Hyacine versus Gallagher is that they are currently performing pretty much at the same rate. They're both, Gallagher can still zero cycle, Gallagher can one cycle, zero cycle, and the same thing with Hyacine. Hyacine can zero cycle and also one cycle. So why on earth will you pull a brand new character that costs you anywhere from 180 pulls or 150 pulls just to get the same result? And I'll give you the best way that I can explain it is essentially, let's say the enemy has 4 million HP, right? And with Gallagher, you're able to clear that boss in 1 to 0 cycles. Same thing with Hyacine. That means that you are effectively dealing 4 million worth of damage to that enemy with Hyacine or Gallagher. But let's say that let's say you take into consideration the amount of damage you're actually doing without taking into consideration the effective amount of damage. So let's say with Gallagher, you're doing 4.1 million damage to that boss. Effectively, 100,000 damage is wasted. And with Hyacine, you're actually doing 7 million damage, right? You're wasting 3 million damage, almost twice as much damage that you need to kill the boss. Right now, you're just going to say, well, I mean, it is what it is. You know, like I'd rather take the Gallagher. It's a 4-star character. I'm still able to clear same amount of time, whatever the case may be. I won't have to, I can save my pulls. And you would be correct. You know, it's fine. You can save your pulls. But we're talking about hoyoverse here. Something very similar happened last year with Acheron and Pella, right? When Acheron came out, Pella came out, or Pella was already there, and people were clearing stuff with Acheron left and right. Jiao Shou was announced. People were getting the exact same results with Pella that they were getting with Jiao Shou, clearing in 0 cycles, 1 cycle, whatever and whatnot. Then Hoyo decided to increase the boss's HPs, and what happened then? Pella just wasn't enough. Pella couldn't cut it. And I'm afraid that this is going to happen again with casters. Being both anniversary units, being both that they released without their best pairing character out, because we believed it was Tribi, but essentially, no, it's going to be Hyacine. Their best support is going to come out, is going to be Hyacine, and essentially in a few months, when they increase the enemy's HP, which I hope I am wrong about this, they're going to increase the enemy's HP, and then casters is going to need more damage to deal with these bosses, and Hyacine is going to be the solution to that. Maybe not right now, maybe not next month, maybe not the month after that. But, and again, I hope I'm wrong about this, but in a few months, Hyacine is going to be the solution for casters to still be able to 0 in 1 cycle. And Gallagher, again, I hope I'm wrong, Gallagher is not going to be it. Gallagher is going to fall off to the 2 to 4 cycle, 5 cycle range like Pella did with Acheron. So in short, in a few months, having Hyacine in your account is going to make running casters a lot smoother. The same way having Jiao Shou in your account makes now running Acheron a lot smoother. That's essentially my comparison. Now, when we talk about Hyacine outside of casters teams, she buffs up Blade. She single-handedly brings Blade back up from like whatever tier people believe he is, to like probably a tier 1. He gets a massive HP boost, which is also a massive damage boost. And when he gets his buff, essentially when he gets rid of his attack scaling, and hopefully they convert him fully to HP scaling, that's what I'm hoping for, Hyacine is gonna single-handedly bring him all the way back up to like I hopefully tier 1, because he's one of my favorite characters. Tier 1 and tier 0.5 if I'm like being very hopeful. But single-handedly Hyacine is gonna bring Blade back up. Very good. If you pick up Hyacine's light cone, then you get extra stacks for Blade as well. So if you're one of those players that are going to go for her light cone, that's also a positive. If you also like a character like Blade, E2 Mighty, I personally stopped at E1 Mighty, but when Mighty comes back, I'm getting the E2 because I am getting Hyacine E0 S1. So actually I don't know, I didn't even know. I think I'm gonna go E0 S1 for my Hyacine, but for my E2 Mighty in the future, firing off those God Slayers is going to be a breeze, because Hyacine is going to be healing up the wazoo, and it's going to be fantastic. So all those people that have, I don't know, for some reason, I have a lot of people that have E6 Mighty on my Twitch chat. So for all those people that have E6 Mighty, do yourself a favor, pick up your Hyacine, because it's going to be so much easier for y'all. So yeah, very excited for E2 Mighty as well. And also, you know, outside of those HP scaling teams, she is going to be the best sustain in the game. She is going to be better than Aventurine. She is going to be better than Ling Xia. She heals more than Ling Xia, even though they both, I think Ling Xia uses less skill points than Hyacine. But I mean, as a healer, healers generally in Star Rail use skill points to some degree. Like Ling Xia needs to use skill points to refresh the bunnies. And Hua needs to refresh her stacks with the skill. So healers generally are not SP friendly. Hyacine is not an exception. I think she is the most SP hungry out of all of them, but her healing kind of makes up for it. And if you have her ultimate up, you kind of get away with not having to use your skill every single time to heal. And she does a really good job keeping your team topped off. So you kind of can play around with your skill points. You are going to have to be a little bit more wary of how you use them, but you can still play around it a little bit. And that would be what I would say is her most negative, or like her downside, is her SP like hunger, I guess. But that's pretty much it. She's very fast on her own. We have a light cone that gives you speed anyway. If you don't go for her signature light cone, we have a free light cone that gives you speed. So even if you don't have her signature light cone, you can still build speed and make her really fast. So it's not really that big of a deal. Now, would I recommend my newer players / my mid-game players to pull a copy of Hyacine? If you do not have a sustained character, a good sustained character, like if you have Bailu, I mean, you know, fuck Bailu. You know, Bailu doesn't count. I have a Bailu and I'm using Lynx more than I use Bailu. If you don't have a sustained character, then you probably are going to be better off pulling a copy of Hyacine, especially if you pulled for casters. If you pull for casters and you're a newer mid-game player, even if you are an in-game player and you have a copy of casters, if you're free to play, try to snipe up a copy of Hyacine. It's going to be very beneficial, and you're probably not going to see the benefits now, but in the future, trust and believe you're going to see the benefits of it, because the numbers are like I said in my previous Hyacine video. I'm going to leave it linked in the description if you want to take a look at it. I have all the calcs for it for Hyacine. The numbers are painting a picture, and it's not a pretty picture for people that are not going to have Hyacine in that future. Okay, so now for my veteran free-to-play players and low spenders, you could get away if you already have a really well-built Gallagher and a really good Casterus and a good Casterus team. You could get away with waiting on her rerun and planning for the rerun. You can plan for the rerun, because I don't think Gallagher is going to fall off that hard, that quick, to where we can't wait for his... Maybe he falls off like the patch of the rerun or the patch before the rerun, something like that, but it's not going to be that bad. You know what I'm saying? So I think you could wait until her rerun to pull for her and see how it actually turns out. Yeah, that'll be like my advice for like my veteran free-to-play players and veteran low spenders. Obviously for my Dolphins, pick up at least one copy. If you want to go the extra mile, like go E0 S1 like I'm gonna go, and if you really want to go the extra mile, pick up a second copy of the light cone and give it to the RMC, and then your caster is gonna go crazy. And then obviously for my whales, E6 Hyacine is insane. Very fun character. Now Cipher is a very interesting character, to say the least. I'd say she's the first character of her kind where she is essentially as good as the team she is placed on. Her niche is to essentially repeat the damage that has already been done as true damage, which is really good, because a lot of these bosses now have these like damage reduction mechanics, and true damage just ignores that mechanic at all. Like true damage doesn't care about damage reduction. in the slightest. It doesn't care about resistance. It doesn't care about anything. It's just damage. That's what's called true damage. It just ignores everything and then just deals damage. So Cipher ends up being in this little pocket where she fits pretty much in any team scenario. Her having a follow-up is really good. Her having like her being attack scaling is kind of decent because you can fit it in teams with Robin, and she has a follow-up that actually helps Robin teams as well. She's a very splashable, very universal unit that fits in most teams. Her debuffs are universal. It's defense down and vulnerability, and I think that's a good reason enough to pull for a character like Cipher, but I don't think Cipher is a character for every type of account. And I'll explain. I don't think Cipher is a character for new accounts. I don't think character is a character for mid-game accounts or early game accounts, or accounts that are currently trying to clear end game, except for one type of account, which we'll discuss a little bit later. The main discussion on whether people want to pull or not pull for Cipher is if they're pretty much discussing whether she's going to be best in slot in Acheron or E2 Acheron teams specifically, or PHAINON teams. That's pretty much the discussion that I've been hearing the most. And I made a whole video on Cipher. I'm going to leave it linked in the description below, talking specifically about, I think, Acheron. I didn't talk about Cipher. I didn't talk about PHAINON just yet. I will make a video whenever she comes close to releasing, because I haven't really been able to test her that much. Whenever I get a chance of testing out Cipher, I'll make a follow-up video. But the argument is Cipher better than Zhao Shou, an Acheron team or E2 Acheron team, to replace or be competitive there? Or is Cipher good enough to replace Topaz or Moza or March 7th in the PHAINON team? And the answer to that is either it could be yes and it could be no. In some scenarios, Cipher is going to outperform those characters. There's bosses that benefit, for example, there's bosses that have damage reduction that will benefit more from having somebody that deals true damage. None of those characters, aside from Cipher, deals true damage. Cypher's the only one that does it. So obviously, the team is going to benefit from having a true damage dealer in the game, in the team. But even though she can outperform them in some scenarios, is she worth the pulls, right? Is she worth pulling, or is she worth spending all my hard-earned J's or my hard-earned pulls for that possible upgrade in performance in some bosses, right? That's generally what the question would be. What is the value proposition here? And honestly, that would be up to you to decide. So let's say, for example, you have an account that you have Acheron at E0, S0, you have Zhao Shou, and you currently run her with Pela. You like PHAINON, but you picked up a copy of PHAINON, but you don't have Topaz, you have Moza, and you have March 7th, right? So right now you have these two teams. You have Acheron, E0, S0, E0, S1 Acheron, you have Zhao Shou, you have Pela. On the other side, you have PHAINON with Moza or March 7th, whatever. Picking up a copy of Cipher in this scenario would be extremely, extremely beneficial, because with pulling Cipher, you pretty much kill two birds with one stone. You pull Cipher, she's an ability character. She can replace Pela on the Acheron team, and then she also will fit in the second follow-up attack unit slot, the PHAINON team, which she buffs a little bit more than what Topaz would. And if you pick up her light cone, it's even more because of the damage reduction, or the defense down, stacking up with PHAINON's own defense reduction, or defense ignore. She's actually a very, very good damage increase to PHAINON on her own team. The same thing can be said backward. Let's say you have the PHAINON team, like fully fleshed out PHAINON team. You have Topaz, you have PHAINON, you have Aventurine, you have Robin. But on the other side, you have E2 Acheron, but you don't like Zhao Shou. You didn't pick up Zhao Shou. You're currently running E2 Acheron with Pela still. Well, now you pick up Cipher, and then you can mix and match. You can run PHAINON with Cipher if you really want to, and then you can run Cipher with Acheron as well. And then also, Cipher is not pigeonholed to these two teams exclusively. You can throw her in pretty much any team, because like I said before, her debuffs apply to every single damage in the game. So she's very, very splashable. The only thing, and I'll repeat it one more time before we move on, the only thing is that I don't recommend newer players and mid-game players to pull for a character like Cipher, because she's really, really dependent on the performance of the team. The team has already, the team needs to already be cooking for her to cook even more. Hopefully that makes sense. Like, if her team performance is bad, then her performance is going to be bad. Even like, she could be great herself, but if your team is only doing, like, I don't know, 100k damage, then her ult is only going to do like 15k. You know, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be worth the amount of pulls that you had to do to get her. if that makes sense. Also, with a character like this for newer players, mid-game players, like free-to-play players or low spenders, we do have a lot of good stuff coming after this patch, specifically PHAINON and the Fate collab, which we're going to talk about next. So a character that has, because frankly, Cipher has a good value proposition, but not for every player, whereas PHAINON may have a higher value proposition for more players, and the Fate collab is just, Fate collab is a very limited, they're probably never going to rerun this again. I don't think they will. So the value proposition is higher for those type of things. So I would say for those type of players, it's better to just save for these type of things. So Cipher is going to rerun eventually. So if Cipher ends up being a character that you really want to get in the future, you can always wait for the rerun and it'll be fine. Like, I don't think Cipher is a must pick up right now for most players. Only like dolphins, like content creators and whales are the ones that are going to pick it up like right now. And get a lot of value from it. Everybody else is just going to pick her up because they really, really like her, or because they want to fit in the slots, like I said before, with the Akron team or the Phage Out team. That's pretty much it. All right, now we're going to talk about our boy PHAINON. Frankly, I don't know too much about him. All I do know is that he's supposed to be cracked out. He's supposed to be crazy. He has emanator levels of power. He's supposed to have a territory, and he's supposed to be a hyper carry type of character who synergizes very, very well with Sunday. So if you have Sunday already, or if you plan on pulling for Sunday, hopefully they don't rerun Sunday with PHAINON on the same patch. That would be insane. RIP if they do that, but hopefully PHAINON is one of the best characters in the game. I really wish they would make that a thing, because I personally like PHAINON's design. Like, I think he's really cool. I think if they make some sort of transformation where he transforms into the Reaver or whatever, that would be insane. Like, fighting with the Reaver on our side would be insane. It would be really, really cool to see. So, you know, I expect his animations to be really, really, really fleshed out and really cool. So this is a character that I'm mostly excited about, even more than the Fate collab, which we're going to talk about next. But he's supposed to be one of the best DPS characters in the game. He's like I said before, he's supposed to be a hyper carry, DPS, destruction, physical, and you know, those are my favorite type of characters: hyper carry, destruction type characters. Dunhang, Bibi Lune, Blade, all of those characters have been my favorite characters when they come out. So PHAINON definitely fits the bill. Mighty as well. Mighty's a destruction character as well. All those characters have been my favorite characters when they come out. So PHAINON is not going to be any different. To me, he's the one that I'm most excited about personally. So I may be a little biased. But for newer players, if you started at 2.7 or 2.6 when Sunday came out and you picked up a copy of Sunday and you have been able to save a few Jades, I would recommend waiting to see what his kit actually ends up being and see how he synergizes with Sunday. And obviously I will make videos on PHAINON when he comes out. But before you pull for like Hyacine, before you pull for Cipher or anything like that, wait a little bit until we have more information on what his kit is actually going to be like for you to make a decision on whether you're going to pull for him or not, or whether you want to spend your Jades or not, because he may actually end up being the best DPS in the game or close to that. And if you already have his best in slot support, then you know you might as well pick up the best in slot DPS for your best in slot support, if that makes sense. Obviously dolphins and whales are going to pick up the character anyway. But until we get more information, I don't really know like what else I can say here other than just wait. Let's wait and see what they say. But what I know so far, I already told you. So let's just wait and see. Now, PHAINON and the Fate collab are both coming on 3.4. We don't know a lot about this character's kits. We do know that Saber is going to be a destruction wind character, and Archer is going to be a quantum hunt character. Obviously, we're going to get Archer for free, which is great and fantastic, but we are going to have to pull for Saber. Now, Saber and Archer have their own banner separate from the banners that we have in the game, right? So this means that there's not going to be any pity carried over to it, and there's not going to be any pity carried out of it. So they also mentioned in the Hoyo Lab post that they made that the collab itself is going to be available for a very long time. Now, given that they haven't said this before about any other banner ever, I can safely assume that at minimum, this is going to be available for more than the 3 weeks that banners are normally available for. So hopefully these two banners are available for at least 2 or 3 months. That way we can have an opportunity to save Jades throughout these 2 to 3 months and pick up at least a copy of one of each character and their weapon throughout the 2 to 3 months that we are able to have access to these banners. This will make it a lot more manageable, a lot easier for free-to-plays and low spenders to be able to take part of this collaboration. I know a lot of people have been saving for pretty much a year or more at this point. So a lot of people are already locked in, ready to go. So I don't really have to like tell you guys to pull or not pull. At the end of the day, this is a game. You know what I'm saying? Like if you really enjoy the Fate series and Fate Stay Night or whatever it's called, I don't know anything about it. But if you enjoy it, go right ahead. It's a game. Play with your favorite characters. But yeah, the only insight I can give you here is that these banners are going to be presumably available longer than regular banners. So we are going to have an opportunity to get these characters for a longer period of time, so you don't have to rush to get them. This is what I'm trying to say. So we can actually take a step back and like think about our pull and plan our pulling strategy a little bit better. All right, guys, that's going to be the end of the video. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Which character are you going to be pulling for? Which one are you the most excited about? Put it in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. Until next time, guys. See ya.